You're listening to episode number 19 of the Play Your Position podcast.
Welcome to the Play Your Position podcast, where your story matters and we make it count. Here's your host, Mary Lou Kaser. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Play Your Position podcast. My name is Mary Lou Kaser. I am so excited to introduce you to Kelly Fidel because Kelly is a premier sales expert, business strategist, and entrepreneur mentor. What's really unique about Kelly is when having a conversation just about business and strategy, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for her to unlock anywhere from six figures to over $560,000 in a business that people don't even see. Now, aside from this, Kelly is also a football mom, which fits right in with the theme of our podcast. And so, Kelly, again, welcome to the show. Are you ready for kickoff?
I am ready. Let's go.
Awesome. Let's get started. Dive right in with the fact that you are a premier sales expert, a business strategist. You are playing a position that is unique in so many ways, and I would love for you to share more about how you arrived at playing this position and why you are so good at it.
Well, first of all, Mary Lou, thank you for having me here. This is actually one of my absolute favorite interviews. First of all, because I love playing the position and, just love the kickoff, moving the chains, and obviously the end zone. So can't wait to share with your listeners how they can absolutely do the same for them. I started my sales career at the ripe old age of 9 years old. So I was raised by a single mom. We were very poor, didn't have a lot of money, but I didn't really know that. And my mom was absolutely brilliant, a lot of love in the house. And she had these great systems and ideas, basically how to do life, right? So I wanted a pair of shoes. Girl has got to have her shoes. And we didn't have the money. And so she said, look, I have this great idea. Why don't you go to your aunt's house, pick some avocados, and go door to door to sell them? I was like, wow, that's a brilliant idea. So I did just that, picked the avocados, put them in a wagon, went door to door to sell them. 25 cents each, 5 for $1. And as I was going door to door, first of all, I had a great time. I love selling. It's like an Easter egg hunt, right? So you just never know what's going to happen. And to me, that's really thrilling and fun. But what I also discovered was it wasn't going fast enough for me, like calling on the quote client one at a time, which relates to today's world. And so I started to think about leverage. Believe me, at 9, I wasn't thinking about leverage. I was thinking, how can I dump these avocados, get all the money, and get my shoes, right? I started to think, where are all of these people going to hang out where I can go and basically find all my clients in one location, sell all my avocados, and get what I want? And I discovered the cul-de-sac and went over into the cul-de-sac. So I leveraged this, quote, center of influence, sold my avocados, got my shoes. After that, I do want the listeners to know that I've had tremendous success building 7-figure businesses and selling them, climbed the corporate ladder in Fortune 100. So sat and competed in some of the most powerful boardrooms in the world against some of the most powerful men and won. And so I learned a lot along the way, but I also made a lot of mistakes. And I was very, very blessed to have some people take me under their wing and kind of show me the ropes. With that, though, it didn't come easy. I barely graduated from high school. I worked in the office to write ditch slips so that I wouldn't get in trouble. I ejected from college. So, I think it's important for people to know that sometimes life is not always perfect or easy, but that we can truly craft our own life. And I have zero regrets. I've had a ball. And today I have this innate ability, as I was basically growing up in corporate, to see women and men struggle for no reason in either landing business, making big money. And I really wanted to put a stop to that. So I have this innate ability to take a look at a business at 30,000 feet and then, drill down, basically look at the playbook, see the strategy across the board, and then look at a play and say, that's what we're going to do. Yet when a man is in motion, I can call an audible and we can still execute the play and go for the touchdown.
I think it's just fantastic that you have that innate sense and you recognized it at such a young age. At 9 years old, you were driven by a pair of shoes, but I think there was something more going on there. And over the years, you've not only honed that skill, but you have really capitalized on it and built a life for yourself that you're very proud of, that has afforded you the opportunity to work with some of the most powerful business leaders on the planet and also turn around and coach or mentor other people. But before we get into that, Kelly, could you talk about a coach or mentor that you have had that has influenced your ability to play this position as well as you do?
I've had a few people in my life. It's kind of like saying, which child do I like better?
I know.
And I have to say, depends on the day, right? No, I love them both. I would say, first of all, my parents, right? They were divorced when I was very early, but both of them are brilliant people. My mom really taught me the art and the science of selling and the elegance of being a woman. So I would say it started really there. And then from there, I've had several, mentors coming in and out of corporate. I've had some extremely high-powered mentors in the entrepreneur space. Today, my mentor does $3 billion a year in 20 companies in 7 countries. And he's absolutely brilliant. He does push me to a level that is, uncomfortable for me oftentimes. And what that allows me to do is play at a bigger level so that I can deliver, even higher and greater. There's also people that I've followed throughout the years. Marcus Buckingham, Strength Finders, Tony Robbins, Joel Osteen, Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson. And a lot of these people I've met, did a lot of work with Maria Shriver. I've had some really great NFL clients. I've had some great celebrity clients and access to some really fantastic thought leaders. And what I've discovered is that there's the brand of the person, and then there's the man or the woman of the person. And so really having that, I'm going to say, luxury, benefit, blessing of getting to know some of these folks and really who they are and how they create change and connection in the world is the new currency. So
that distinction between the human being and the brand is something that no one's brought up yet on this podcast. And I'm really glad that you brought that up, because we live in a time, as you well know, where these celebrities, these very, very powerful, influential people like Richard Branson, like Oprah Winfrey and so forth, are really a mouse click away. And you've had the good fortune of not only meeting some of these people, but working with some big name celebrities, and I know some of your sales work has been with NFL players who are looking to take their life in a new direction and play a new position. So not only have you been coached and mentored by very powerful people, but you in turn have been a coach and mentor for powerful people. And what I'd love you to talk about next, Kelly, is that part of the game of life, of a football game called Move the Chains, where you're on the field and say you're standing with some of these power players, and you now have this opportunity, not only as a coach, but as somebody who's part of a system, to execute a plan to get the ball down the field into the end zone, but things didn't go exactly as the playbook said. Tell us about a time when you found yourself faced with a situation where either you were out of position, or maybe you got intercepted, or you fumbled the ball. Do you know what caused it, and how did you recover from that?
First and foremost, I think it's important to note that I like what you said about in a day and time where people are all trying to brand. It's very important to know that out there, people are always trying to create this celebrity style status. Everybody wants to be featured in ABC, NBC, Wall Street Journal, HuffPo, blah, blah, blah. Put these icons on their website and their flyer or whatever. And I don't discount that. All right. That's fine. However, it is to some extent inauthentic. And what I mean by that is there is celebrity status. A true celebrity uses their status to help other people gain. Okay. So if it comes from the right place, that the power players, and it comes from the right place, then, I think that's great. More importantly for the listeners is, I'll talk about, not as planned. What is really important is when you're working with clients, for me, and Mary Lou, you know this, I don't personally care if they're a millionaire, a billionaire, a celebrity, and a CEO, a CFO, a EIEIO. I truly, respectfully don't give a rip because it is what they do. It's not who they are. And no one's time is more valuable than any of ours. We just all happen to be doing the best we can in our industries that we play in. So when you're working with clients, I like to go to the top, to the decision makers. And when you recognize that the magic that you have, what you do, creates results for your client, and you live in that power play, when you can carry the ball in your strength, you'll land higher paying and affluent clients. All right. So I just want to disclose, don't get starstruck with all the drama and the nonsense. Been very blessed and very grateful to, work with some of these amazing people, but I'm sharing with you their philosophy as well. Okay. So I just want to kind of put that out there. Now, do things go not as planned? Absolutely. Yes. I mean, it's happened a zillion times. Here's what's cool about women in business, especially, and I love the cool men as well, is women are very nimble and quick to market. We are resilient, collaborative, and we are able to call in our second, third, and fourth string players, if you will. We're able to tap our community. And the difference is that our community, our second and third string players, have had enough playtime that they can step in as a first string player and carry the ball for the win. And so, some things that have not gone as planned. I've had everything from AV shut down in an entire event and do an entire day and a half event with no PowerPoint, which I prefer anyway. I don't like death by PowerPoint in an event. I've had, I had a woman stand up, didn't feel good in one of my events in the front row, and her water broke and she went into labor and she fainted. And I've had things like that. I've been on a stage and a spider came down from the ceiling. I could see it in my peripheral and went down the back of my dress and I had to smash it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I've had, high-powered client where you show up, and I have a 10-minute rule. I show up, we have a 9 o'clock, I'll wait 9:05, I'll go to the reception, we have a 9 o'clock, is so-and-so ready? Let me ping them again. At 9:10, I walk out. So to some extent, you can control things that are not planned, and oftentimes you cannot, okay? The key is to look at it as data versus drama. When you can step back and analyze the situation, much like the play on a field, every time there is a man in motion, every time there is a play going on in business, in life, things are fluid. They're constantly changing. A river will never flow down the same way twice. Never. And that's life. So once we stop controlling and start enjoying, things that are not planned become fun. It's interesting. I mean, good Lord, who wants to eat vanilla wafers every day?
I certainly don't.
No.
Data versus drama, that is a very powerful, succinct way to look at things. And I know that lots and lots of people today do struggle with making sense of everything, with not getting overwhelmed with all the technology and all these expectations that have somehow cropped up. And you've really highlighted the fact that, A, we tend to make things way more dramatic than they need to be. And B, if we take the time to step back and really survey what's going on, that can bring us clarity. That can bring us a sense of peace and a feeling of, okay, so maybe this particular event didn't go exactly as I had it mapped out. You know, a spider went down the back of my dress, or a gal fainted in the front row. You know what? So what? You keep playing, you keep moving forward, because there's really no other option. You know, life doesn't just come to a screeching halt. You have to keep going and being able. I love that word nimble that you brought up, and I completely agree. I think women are the more nimble of the species, if you will. Not that men can't be, but I just think it's innate within women to be able to make those shifts and pivots in a way that men cannot. So thank you for sharing that. That was terrific. And what advice, Kelly, would you offer people who may find themselves struggling right now to find a position to play, or they're just not getting the kind of results that they wanted from their current position?
Got it. First of all, I'll just use the quarterback as an example. Now, my house is an offensive line house, right? My husband played in the NFL. He was a center. My oldest son is a left tackle. My youngest son is a center. Division I high school football and D1 colleges. So, you know, I'll kind of use the analogy of the quarterback for a second. You know, all of us are quarterbacks, right? We have the ball. Now, there are times when your left tackle, he's guarding that blind side and he's going to miss, and you're going to get T-boned. It's going to happen. You're going to take a hit. You may take a big hit and get your bell rung, but you don't just lay there on the field for the next 10 years. You get up, you shake it off, and you move on. So it's really important today to just say, look, you're going to take hits, quit crying, get up, move forward. It's not the end of the world. It's not the Last Supper. And ask for help. Everything is a team in life. Everything. So if you're dealing with clients, big clients, ask them for help. Let them know, listen, this is a team. In order for us to implement XYZ, we'll need teamwork here. And so what I want to do is move us forward to a yes. That's your preliminary close. And as we do, I want to talk with you a little bit about how we can work together as a team, all right? Because women have this unfortunate, fatal, false perception that we need to do everything. Men are phenomenal. They live in their area of brilliance. They do what they're supposed to do. They remember their strengths from the day that they're born, and they're just hardwired very differently. Women, we start something new. We forget any of our former experience. We throw out the window any of our self-worth and feel like we have to draw a line in the sand and start all over. And it's unfortunate, right? That's a mindset shift that has to happen, really, to get very clear on the result you get for your client, get very clear on your product, your message, your pricing, and then be normal. So when you're working with clients, it's okay to say, you know, I have a question, and then you just talk. I mean, MGM will be at the upcoming event. Zappos will be at the upcoming event. They each of them closed in 1 week, 3 call close, never even met with them yet in person. And that's just normal. You know, I just call them up. I love to talk with people, and I just see if it's a fit for both of us. Sales is not difficult. Stop the sales cycles. Those are a bunch of crock, you know what. Anyway, I almost said that. The football mom is coming out.
The football mom is on the sidelines, baby.
Go team.
Go team. Kelly, you just really shared, I think, some of the biggest insights that, again, if listeners haven't picked up on this yet, first of all, I just want to say I am sitting here feeling like, man, she's tough. You know, you are just such a strong and tough but compassionate leader. I listen to you, and I'm reminded of that one scene with Tom Hanks. You know, there's no crying in baseball. You know, you're like, quit crying, just get up, move on. It's okay. You know, your bell's going to get rung. Love that reminder that we're all going to get knocked down, and it's perfectly fine. And then I also am just so happy that you described that differentiation between men and women. I couldn't agree more. As a female, obviously, I look at the men in my life and I've known over the years, and I sometimes stand back and say, it's so easy for you. You know, that, like you said, they just stay in their lane, and we women are all over the place, right? And it's like, stop the madness.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome advice. So I think it's time. You've already gotten us really close to that end zone, Kelly, but I think it's time that we take the ball into the end zone and score a touchdown.
Awesome.
So you are in the red zone, and there are less than 30 seconds left on the clock. You're down by 4 points. It's third down, and it is now or never. Tell us a story about a time when you overcame this obstacle and ran the ball into the end zone for a touchdown that won the game for you.
I would have to say it's no glass ceiling. It's been a vision for 20 years that I could help 1 million women make one change to cause a ripple effect from around the world. It pains me to see women struggle and not have the life that they want to live, without a permission slip. For 20 years, I had that vision. My mom was the only one that I had ever told about it and believed in me. A year later, she died in my arms. I was 8 months pregnant with my first son. About 7 years later, I decided to launch it again. I've owned the domain name and trademarking that long. And the day I wanted to launch it, I reached for my cell phone and hit a tree head on doing 50. I had to learn to walk again and talk again, and I put it on hold again. This year, January 9th, I drew a line in the sand, and on my mom's birthday, I launched No Glass Ceiling. So I am committed to helping women. There is nothing more beautiful than a woman who rises into her power, draws a line in the sand, and says, I'm going to shatter my own glass ceiling and live a life with impact and fulfillment. So I've taken the hits. I'll take 1 million more. I have zero regret, and I'm tough because it comes from a place of love. I do not want anyone else to hold their dream, vision, and passion hostage for 14 to 20 years like what I did. So we are launching. We are a week away from this event. It's an annual event. We do several events a year. Typically, 70+% of the attendees that come into the event leave not only with a plan, but they leave knowing how to tap a $19 trillion market and land 6-figure deals in 60 days or less. So I'm just really, 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 I know I'm tough, but it comes from a place of love. And I just hold the space for you, all of you, to take long, leisurely walks to the bank with me.
Listeners, I want to really emphasize here the power that Kelly is bringing into this world. She, as you can hear, is not only a visionary, but has wrapped her arms around a vision and a mission that nothing is going to stop her from moving. And if you're feeling like right now you're on the fence, you're on the sidelines, you're watching the game go by week after week after week, and you're not playing, now may be the time for you to step into that space. And remember that you can find the links to the events that Kelly is having over at maryloukaser.com/Kelly, and all the show notes, all the things that Kelly is sharing. And I encourage you to reach out and connect with this woman because she is a powerhouse. And as we wrap up the show today, Kelly, I would love for you to share 1 to 3 key offensive strategies straight out of the Kelly Fidel playbook that listeners could implement right away to move the chains of their lives and our businesses into the end zone.
Okay, cool. So the first one is leverage centers of influence. A great example of that is associations. Google associations in your city. Associations typically have 3 to 5 employees and 10,000 to 100,000 members. They're looking for an educational partner like you to do a teleseminar, a webinar, or even interview the CEO. So they're looking for people to contribute, and it's a great way to find your, quote, business cul-de-sac and go sell your magic, like the avocados. The second piece is understand that there is no such thing as a sales cycle, only a buying cycle. So when you meet with a client, Typically, they're already 70% through the buying process with the power of the internet and video. They already know who you are. So don't start at square one. They'll want to stab themselves in the eye with a dull pencil. They want to do business with you. So move forward to the close and just ask them, what do we need to do to move forward with a yes? And if you're looking for more tips and strategies, there is a free membership at noglassceiling.com, and I give all of this stuff away in detail.
And let me tell you, she does. Kelly, you are a force of nature. I am sitting here my mind is racing. I've heard some of these things shared by you before, but to hear it again and to hear it in this context has got me super, super excited. And again, listeners, be sure to go over and get to know Kelly, come to her events, reach out to her. She is as real and authentic as they come. And you've already shared one way, Kelly, of how we can connect with you over at noglassceiling.com. Are there any other places that you would like to share with listeners on connecting with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to connect with me on Facebook at Kelly Fidel. Also, kellyfidel.com is another great place. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram, but really, Facebook and kellyfidel.com is a great place. I'd love to really connect, not just like a pretend friend, like let's connect.
Kelly, thank you so much for your time today and for your enthusiasm for life, for making the world a better place for women and a few cool men. There's a lot of them out there as well. And I appreciate you. And I know the team over here at Play Your Position appreciates you as well.
Well, Mary Lou, thank you so much, first of all, for Play Your Position and for creating the space for people like myself to come in and contribute to your amazing, amazing world. I love what you do. Another powerful football woman, businesswoman. You are epic, and I just can't wait to see you soon. I adore you, and you rock.
Thanks, Kelly, and we will see you soon. Hey, team. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Play Your Position podcast, the place where stories matter and we make yours count. Make sure to subscribe to the show in iTunes if you haven't become a subscriber already, so you never miss another episode. Question: are you on our email list? If not, you're missing out on your chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card every third Thursday of the month when we give one away to a lucky subscriber. Would your month be a little better with a $25 gift card to use on Amazon? Go now to maryloukaiser.com/subscribe to find out more. Again, that's maryloukaiser.com/subscribe.
Thanks for listening to the Play Your Position podcast, where your story matters and we make it count at maryloukaiser.com.